Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
Episode 181. Do you think we'd have this like talking over the phone down, but clearly
We don't really have talking down yet, Mark.
yeah, that's true. I was just saying, I was on a Zoom call with my friends, and I was just saying that's like me and Ken are doing like calls for a year now. We have it like down, like we're so in sync. I just know instinctively when Ken's going to talk, and I realised just now that is complete and utter horse shite.
It's hard because you can't, like, obviously we're just over the phone. Like, you can't really see like vocal cues, like
There's no
cues like you're going to say something.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing of that like your body language when you're having a conversation is so important, and when you take that out, it just comes across very clunky.
Yeah.
Plus, we have Facebook listening to us, so every now and again, I hear like a little tap, like it's a keyboard thing, to the point where I thought it was you just typing. I was like, does he have a typewriter? And just every now and then, Eric, stop listening to us, Facebook.
This could be because you've said some very controversial things.
Yeah, well, our podcast. Luckily enough, our podcast isn't more popular because we've said a lot of things. We probably would have got cancelled if we were popular. We're just below the ability that we can say really controversial things and not get cancelled, and not get yet. And if we ever do get popular enough, we're probably going to get cancelled. We'll be like, we were always like this.
Or just delete a load of episodes.
No. We'll keep our episodes. Unless it's SoundCloud, which we are currently trying to delete all our episodes so we can put new ones up. I should say to people, no one listens on SoundCloud, we're stopped uploading, for time being, for the next good while. We're stopped uploading on SoundCloud, really basically because they're the only platform that charges you to upload content onto their server. They're also a media host, so they see themselves like Libsyn, which we use as our own media hosts. So I just decided to stop paying SoundCloud because I already had a media host. So we're going to delete off all the old episodes, and then you can just listen and then every week we'll just upload a new episode to SoundCloud, and that's what we're going to be going forward. Yes, because we're not paying money for something that's not really being used. It's not really a popular podcasting site. There's plenty of others like Spotify and Google Podcasts and other ones that people listen to that are far more popular on our streaming sites. So yeah, if you were a SoundCloud person and you've recently moved over to someone else, that's why you haven't been getting new episodes, because we're not uploading it. We're trying to get through deleting all our old episodes so we can upload new ones.
Yeah, because SoundCloud's gay.
SoundCloud's gay. No one listens to it. So yeah, that's basically it. SoundCloud is dead for podcasting, basically, and like I'm not paying for something that no one uses anymore.
Does anybody use SoundCloud for anything anymore?
It's, if you're like a musician, I think it's popular still. So if you put up like tracks, you can get followers on it, and then other people will go, "Oh yeah, we should collab," and it's good, like that kind of stuff, or getting noticed. But Instagram is just as good for that now. Like my cousin, it does like music and put up songs, but he mostly just puts up on Facebook and social media like Instagram, and he gets like loads of plays on that. And Spotify will pay it as well. I know they pay musicians, they don't pay podcasters. That's the other thing I don't like about fucking SoundCloud.
Bastards.
Yeah, like they'll pay musicians if they reach a certain amount of views, but podcasting they don't. Right? We don't pay podcasters. I was like, what? So you're paying musicians, but you're not paying podcasts. And I was like, well, that makes no sense at all. But Spotify has the same principle.
What if you write a song per podcast?
I know, exactly. If we have songs on our podcast that we create every week, surely they have to pay us because we're two things.
We could do that.
Yeah, no, we couldn't. Well, maybe you could. You're a musician.
We could do that.
We could maybe get our guy we're going to talk about in our first story to write us a few melodies, all right?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, it's a nice little segue, because we're going to be talking about shortly a guy who made a guitar out of his dad.
Uncle.
uncle. So dad for everyone else. Everyone was like, "What's a dad?" Dad, but it was actually uncle. So it doesn't really matter. We'll also be talking about bad parking. You must see a lot working in a shop.
Yeah.
And do you ever see fights over it?
Not really. No.
Not really.
But
Just passive aggressive comments.
some fierce parking.
Yeah, so we talk about bad parking in our kind of topic piece. We'll also be given the latest on a breaking story about a goat that is loose in Mayo. Ken will have the details on that. And then we'll have our idiots of the week. Remember that couple that chained themselves together? It resulted in both of them being in hospital. Surprise, surprise, once again. Ken and I, talking hard. I'm going to be talking about this in our Idiots of the Week. We'll also be talking about a woman who almost won the lotto and a man who faked his own kidnapping to get out of work. Is he a genius or is he an Idiot of the Week? We'll discuss.
He's kind of both.
Idiot genius. It depends if it worked. That's the parameter of the success, whether we class him as an Idiot of the Week or of a genius. And the fact that he's on Idiots of the Week, I presume that this didn't work out best for him.
Oh, he definitely got out of work.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Did he lose his job?
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. We'll start with first, a man who made his uncle into a guitar. Possibly the first ever guy to do this.
Yeah, I've never really heard this before.
So I've heard of people making guitars out of really odd things. C6 Steve is famously known for making guitar out of garbage and old cars, and some of them sound pretty good. I don't know what bone would sound like or how it would impact in the acoustics of a guitar. You're more of a musician, a guitarist than I am, so what's your take on it?
Like, I could understand if you took like a bone. There's like a bit of a guitar. It's like a saddle. That's what it's called. It's made out of either plastic or bone. Some people make them out of bone. Some prefer plastic. If he had done that, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. That's kind of a good idea. But that's not what he did.
And for non-musician people out there, what exactly is a saddle?
It's just like it holds strings in place, basically.
Oh, yeah, it's like the head of guitar, basically.
Yeah, it's just a part of the guitar that holds strings. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's singing a tune, is it?
No, it's on the other opposite end.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. So people who know guitar go, "Oh, of course, you idiot," and then people are go, "Oh, I'm still confused." And he basically made what part of his uncle's skeleton did he make the guitar out of? It was just like the spine, or was
it? He basically has it's the spine, the pelvis, the ribs. Basically it's just like the torso and like the hip bones and everything except the head, the arms, and the legs.
I think it'll be a waste of time if he didn't use his uncle's middle finger and make it into a pick.
Well, I don't know if he did that or not. He's calling it, he did name it something really cool. He is calling it a Skelecaster.
A Skelecaster. And
yeah.
Has he previously made guitars? Is this something that he does all the time? Or is this like, oh, I'm really upset about my uncle. I'll make him into a guitar and it'll be my way of dealing with this grievance?
I don't know. It just said like that his name is Prince Midnight.
All right.
Right, so he already seems like a bit of a clown.
He seems a knob end, yeah.
His uncle was a big music fan, so when he died, he decided to make his uncle, didn't know what to do with him, like, because, you don't bury people anymore. So he decided that he was going to make him into a guitar.
Yeah.
But his uncle died in a car crash in Greece. And when he died, his bones, because there was nobody claimed him or anything, his bones were originally donated to a local college for use in, teaching and stuff, so that you could, a fucking skeleton in a biology class or whatever. But eventually, he got to take possession of his uncle's bones, and he decided, yeah, I'm going to make him into a fucking guitar. And he actually, he went to his local, this is what he did, he went to his local guitar shop and got like the guys in his local guitar shop to help him build this fucking thing.
I would imagine there's some forms of laws about making human remains into ornaments.
I don't think so, because you can actually have like human skeleton on display in your gaff or your school or whatever.
Imagine in your school, I know people have skeletons in schools, but generally they're fake skeletons. They're not like some person's
You'd actually
uncle.
be surprised. A lot of them have just been donated to like medical science and stuff. They are actually real.
I imagine, yeah, the medical science ones, but you know, in like maybe secondary school or something like that, where you go into a class and they might have a skeleton. I imagine all those are fake.
Not all of them.
Not somebody's uncle that donated their body to like
Yeah.
third year biology.
Because usually what happens to them is you donate your body to medical science, so they do a load of experiments on you. Then when they're done,
They make you into a good guitar.
they make you into a skeleton and send you off somewhere.
All right. I imagine like it must have been really hard to put all the pieces together, construct a full guitar, working guitar into a body. I know you're saying that like the base of the guitar, the body of it was made of ribs.
Yeah, like it doesn't. It looks okay, but there's like all the wires and stuff are like hanging out. So
It doesn't look fully finished.
it looks more like a work in progress than an actual finished product.
And is he going to like maybe throw a bit of wood around it to hide all the wires and to make it more just to finish it off, or is he?
No, I think he's done with it.
All right, it's a bit. Yeah, it's really strange. Like surely if he just finished it off with bits of his uncle, and wood, people would be like, "Oh, cool, that's a nice idea that you add a bit of your uncle to your new guitar." But he's like, "No, I'm having all the wires hanging out."
Yeah, like even if he did, like if he had the saddle, say like the volume and the tone knobs, and maybe the like machine heads on the headstock made out of bone, it wouldn't be as fucking weird.
Imagine like bone is an awful material to use for acoustics, even. Or like I don't know. I know because different materials would make different sounds. If you had like a fully metal guitar, it would sound a lot different than a wooden guitar.
It was like you can get certain parts of guitars made out of bone. Usually they're made out of like cow bones or whatever.
Yeah,
he could have just done the same thing with his uncle's bones rather than making the whole fucking body of the guitar out of it. And it kind of looks a bit crap. I do wonder what it sounds like though.
Yeah, there isn't any video of people.
There might be on his Instagram page.
Yeah, maybe if you can find a photo of the guitar itself, maybe stick it up on the Facebook page, and I'll stick up on our Instagram page, and when this episode's out, people will be able to see. I'll put it up on Friday, and people will be able to see it by then because that gives them a day to listen to our podcast.
Let's just hope it's out in time.
Yeah, let's just hope it's out in time. But yeah, we must move on, and we're talking about something that really frustrates people, like to the point where I remember one of my friends got a diagram on how to do it right. I'm of course talking about parking. So you all can take your minds out of gutters right now, but like. Parking really frustrates me.
Why did your friend need a diagram on how to park right?
Well, he didn't need a diagram. He wasn't confused. He was just useless at parking, clearly. And it happened to him twice. And some guy drew a picture of, like, drew like parking spaces and put one picture of, like, a car parked in between two lines and put a tick, and another car parked the way he was parked, and he put an X, and he left it on his window. He went to so much trouble in order to, like, this, like, snotty little remark about how he was parked.
I have stuck signs on cars under window wipers and stuff saying, nice parking, asshole.
Yeah, and, like, generally people, the reason why people, like, freak out over bad parking, because it really just shows a lack of consideration for other people trying to use a car park, especially if it's a busy car park and you're like trying to find a parking spot and some asshole's taking up two spots, especially if it's a really nice car. For some reason, if it's the nicer car and they're parked worse, it infuriates people so much.
I don't understand parking like an ass.
I remember it was around Christmas. I was in Dunnes Stores and I had to. I found a car park spot that was closer to the door and all, and it was a grand parking spot. But even the sight of some like Range Rover, and I was thinking it was a 191 Range Rover as well. I was like, the fucking state of your man's parking. Like, how dare you park like? It would piss me off, even though I had a better parking spot than the two spots he was taking up. It still annoyed me. I was still triggered by the sight of that guy parking, and it can be, for most people, it is that bad that, like, even if they have an already pretty decent car park spot, if they just see it, it just infuriates them so much.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
You said you don't see a whole lot of fights in it, but if you were to rate Ireland's ability to park a car, what would you rate it generally by the cars you see in your car park?
Generally,
yeah,
out of 10, I'd give maybe about a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, because it'll surprise maybe some people from different countries, but Ireland, no one ever really teaches you how to park. Like,
my car has been hit so many times.
Oh yeah,
in a car park.
Yeah, and that's another thing. But no one, like your driving instructor, for some reason, never thinks to bring you into a car park and get you to park a car and or teach you about etiquette in car parks. You kind of have to figure out. You might be shown once or twice how to park a car, but you're not shown how to parallel park a car. And in terms of bringing it into an actual car park, no one really shows. You might brought to maybe empty car park. Obviously, people don't be hitting cars, but it's nothing really that, like, when I was doing my driving test, that was ever really spent that much time. It was always stuff that you're going to need to pass your test, reversing around a corner, like 3-point turns and like etiquette on a roundabout.
Yeah, like, I think everybody should have to go into a multi-story car park as well, because that's like fucking horrendous.
Yeah, and one thing is I will say about is, like, I spend most of my day driving a van, so parking a van in car park, even if you park it square on, sometimes the car park spaces are so narrow. It's hard for you to get out. First of all, without hitting off somebody's car, but also, like, if someone comes, like, if someone has like 4 coffees and they're sent to an office space, or they have children and they're trying to, like, get a load of kids in and they just need space, they give you such a fucking dirty look. You're like, I only can park this, like, one thing. Like, I was like, I'm parked exactly where I'm meant to park. Like, I can't go anywhere. And so, like, I do think, like, size of cars have got bigger over the years, but parking spots haven't.
Yeah,
but
that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, but I don't really see it as too much of an excuse to still take up 2 car park spots.
No, and like you said, it's usually people that are just pricks.
Yeah, it just shows a lack of consideration. So people just sometimes abandon their car and just leave in the middle of a car park, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes." Well, how about you find a spot?
I've seen some absolute awful attempts at parking.
Yeah, and like I'm not the world's perfect driver. Like, sometimes I'll put it on the line, or sometimes I'll pull it past the line, but I'd never leave the car like that. I'd always straighten up before I get out of it.
Me too.
Yeah, I know some people who have either nice cars or who have expensive cars will deliberately park it in 2 spots because they don't want people hitting off their new car.
Yeah, that's called being an asshole.
No, there is a little bit of logic to it. Like, because some people are assholes, but they're assholes in another way. Like, they're assholes in a way where they see a person with a nice car or a new car, and maybe the person's younger than them, maybe the person doesn't, maybe they're just jealous for whatever reason, and they'll deliberately hit off their car and then drive off and not say it. And so, like, then it would, like, maybe a week later, you come and you see, like, a mark on your car. That way.
Some people are just assholes.
Yeah, so I can understand maybe if a person had a really expensive car, them parking in a way maybe that a person will choose a spot further away from their car.
I think in pay parking car parks, like where you have to pay.
Yeah.
If you park in 2 spots, you should have to pay twice.
Yeah, you should. And, like, if you only have one ticket, you should just, like, get a fine for taking up the other car park spot.
That's like, that should be a thing.
But then again, like some people, like if it, like once again you have a 191 Range Rover or the car that we're going to be talking about, because the car we're talking about now, the reason why we're talking about bad parking is a McLaren, and I don't know what the name. I think it's like has like a load of different words for its name. It's like a GT something. I'm not a car person. Anyway, so if you have a really expensive 570 GT McLaren, if you know about cars, it's about $415,000 to buy this car. So it's a really, really expensive car to buy. Like you could probably afford 2 parking spots. Now, if you were to pay twice, you're still taking up 2 spots. And if it's a crowded car park, just because you have a lot of money, should you really be able to buy 2 spots and take away from someone who wanted to just go into a shopping centre and only has like a Fiat 500 or something like that? It's still a bit of a dick thing to do.
I remember when I had my first car, very first car I got, I crashed into a guy. I reversed into a guy in a Merc. He had a brand new Merc, this Outlaw, and reversed straight into it. And I was like, fuck. And when I got out, the only thing he said to me was, don't worry about it. Don't buy a car you can't afford to fix.
Oh, right, that's nice. I thought he was being a dick to you. So,
no,
yeah.
He said, don't buy a car you can't afford to fix.
Yeah, oh, that's nice of him. Yeah, that's decent. Some people are nice like that, where, like, if something happens... Like...
So, by that theory, if you're one of these dickheads and going, oh, I've got a fancy car, I'm parking 2 spots, then you can't afford your car.
Well, do you know what? Yeah, that's one theory, but then another one is like, do you want to be every week bringing it into a paint shop to get a chip taken out because someone bashed off your door?
I also find from work that people that are more likely to actually bash into your car and crash your car are those people that have the fancier cars.
Yeah, there is the case, and I know this might sound sexist, but it's the mothers who are driving the giant Jeeps and have no business driving, have never driven something that big in their lives. And it's not all women who are all mothers. Some women are very capable. There is that stereotypical mother who does not know how to drive the Jeep that her husband just got her, and like ends up like either taking somebody's car out of it or taking up like 2 spots.
Yeah, like I've generally come across it's people driving fancier cars that cause the problems.
Yeah, like I wouldn't, and I know there is a stereotype of like women being bad parkers. I've seen plenty of men. Like I said, my friend, he parks badly all the time. He's a lad. There's some people that just don't care about how their car is parked. They're just like, I'll leave it, and there'll be somebody else's. Now the McLaren driver who parked the car badly, he actually parked over like blatantly in the middle of 2 disabled parking spots.
Yeah, see that's a whole different kind of asshole.
Yeah, so it'd be different like if he maybe picked parking over 1 is a dickhead thing to do. There's no reason why you should be able to park over any park, but just park blatantly into 2 spots, so no one who might need to use that could use either spot. And there was another car in a 3rd one, so I imagine that might be a person who needed to use it. So there was only maybe 1 spot left for a disabled person.
Yeah, there's no way that guy's coming out of that without being an asshole.
Yeah, the photo was taken somewhere in Melbourne and it was uploaded to the disability Facebook page of Australia as like bad parking for the disability places where they show disgraceful photos of like people taking up disabled spot, and just like so like there's all sorts of Facebook pages like where you go to shame people.
Yeah, not always for just driving though.
Oh yeah, there's loads of them. There's like, if you want something shamed, it's out on Facebook, and there's a Facebook page for it. Moving on to goats that's on the loose in Mayo. Ken has the details.
Yes, like I don't know why I only first heard about this week, like, but it seems like a story that should have been bigger than it was. There's this goat in Mayo. They've given him the nickname of Houdini because he's been avoiding capture for 3 weeks. But he showed up in the streets of this town in Mayo for the last 3 weeks, and anytime anybody tries to like catch him or anything, he just disappears.
I wonder what the goat's name is. Sam? because he could be on the loose for a long period of time.
Yeah, well, he's called Houdini.
All right. Yeah, obviously he's not called Sam.
Yeah, like
There's no one in Mayo called Sam.
he was spotted.
Or ever will be.
He was spotted in a laneway beside Super Value on Sunday, and he just disappeared. Then when they all the locals tried to catch him, and he just gone.
Yeah, I wonder, when did he first go missing?
I don't even think he is missing. I think he's just one of those wild goats.
So he's a wild goat, and for some reason, people in Mayo, obviously level 5 lockdown, can't leave their house. Anything at all that distract them from their current situation, they're like, let's all focus on this wild goat that appeared in the Super Value. And where was he first spotted?
I can't even pronounce the name of the fucking town. In a town in Mayo. And
is he going to different parts of Mayo, or is he just kind of?
No, he's just kind of roaming around this one town.
Oh right, it'd be way more interesting if he was in places that were a few 100 kilometers away from each other.
Yeah, and they're starting to get kind of the Mayo SPCA are getting kind of concerned because he's starting to lose a lot of weight, and it appears that it's going into organ failure. So they obviously want to capture it and see what's up with it.
And are the Gardaí, are they involved in this search for this missing goat?
I'd imagine they probably are.
All right. And yeah, so we'll have to keep our listeners posted on the missing goat.
This could be the new Dave the Duck. Houdini the goat.
Yeah, Houdini the goat instead of Sam, because obviously, Mayo people. Very niche reference to something that I'd say 90% of our listeners don't know what we're on about.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated on Houdini the goat. Hopefully he's found safe and well and not on someone's dinner plate. He seems like he needs urgent medical care. And yeah, we wish him all the best. But right now we have to start talking about our idiots of the week. This is a part of the show where it's basically created for idiots. It's talked about by idiots, and it involves people doing really dumb things. So we gave it the title of Idiots of the Week.
We need a theme song, though.
Yeah, we need a theme song. And by the way, this is our longest. This is our longest segment, and our first segment as well. So we really ever done on the show.
Yeah, if we came up with a theme song, though, Spotify might pay us.
Oh yeah, well, I might get on to.
Or SoundCloud might pay us.
Yeah, Mike has a few musician friends of mine to create me a song.
Yeah, we'd be sorted.
Or maybe our musician listeners want to create us a song for Idiots of the Week.
Yeah, you can use a vocal track from Mark there as the lyrics.
Hey idiots, something idiots, it's Idiots of the Week, you idiots. Something like that. I think something catchy. Maybe we go 90s cartoon TV theme songs, like Biker Mice from Mars. There's a guitar solo. There's and they're all ballad songs, all those cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a real ballad song for Idiots of the Week.
Real badass fucking thing.
Yeah, I would like a guitar solo.
Yeah, you need a ripping guitar solo for your Idiots of the Week theme song.
Do you know what? We do every now and again. We'll have follow-up stories, and this is one of them. And I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that it's been, when was Valentine's Day? A month ago?
Yeah,
3 weeks ago. It was whenever Valentine's Day was. This couple chained themselves together for the last 3 weeks. That they have been living chained to each other, but something has happened to them, and Ken's going to tell us what.
So, despite their obvious genius IQs, they ended up having to be brought to hospital because they developed very, very painful ulcers. There is a photo of them. It looks fucking disgusting.
Probably clarify for people who may have not seen the episode where we talked to these. This is a couple who decided that they're going to chain each other for 3 months together, and they would not leave each other's side. They had special clothes made. Every time they need to go to the toilet, take a shite, wash themselves, they are going to be together and they can't take it off. And if they do take it off, they're going to have it surgically removed. What has exactly got an ulcer and where?
Basically, they got ulcers around where they were chained together. So they used like handcuffs.
Yeah.
And the ulcers developed around the handcuffs.
Did they have like an allergic reaction to the chain or what?
It's just, what is it from? I don't really know. The girl first was the one. She started getting like what appeared to be like burns on her wrist, and they put some cream on it, but just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And the hospital told him, you really need to take this shit off and put bandages and stuff on this.
Yeah.
The ulcers were caused from prolonged contact to metal and constant clamping of tissue, leading to a circulatory disorder. And
is both of them now suffering from this condition?
Mainly her. He's not as bad.
Yeah, she's getting the worst end of the stick.
Yeah, she got it fairly bad.
And how were they they're together 3 weeks, chained to each other. How were they finding the experience of being chained to one another for that length of time?
Well, obviously fairly bad because they had to get fucking.
They had to get removed because of the ulcers. But there's couples out there who have been working from home who are sick of the sight of one another from having to spend longer periods of the day together. I imagine if you couldn't physically get away from the person for 3 weeks, no matter how much you, let's say, use or in love, it'd be really difficult at this stage.
They said that they mastered all activities, that they figured out how to do everything from going to the toilet to driving. They figured it all out, but now it's been stopped.
Yeah, but so obviously it wasn't necessarily them being together that was the problem. It was obviously the skin infections that they developed because they were together.
Yeah, they only lasted a little bit over a week.
Over a week? All right.
Yeah.
Because I said 3 weeks is that's a fair stab at trying to spend every minute of every day with a person. Live over a week is not it's not a great milestone. At that stage, the excitement of trying to have a world record was probably the only that would probably carry you through the first week, and the novelty of trying to figure out how to do all these things. I imagine by week 3 it would be the kind of, I wonder if she would mind if I asked her to stand behind the curtain
and just not speak to me.
Just don't speak to me, don't look at me, just stand behind the curtain and please, just do that. Just do that, please. I imagine that would be a large part of it.
Would you be able to do it?
No. Not at all.
I don't think so either.
I don't know if I'd last a good week. I don't know how long I'd last, but I imagine no.
But it would be more the kind of being tied together part that pissed me off.
Oh yeah, if it didn't break out in ulcers, but it would be what I'd miss the most? I'd miss
what?
Taking a shit by myself the most. Taking a shit by myself, it's my time. It's the time where I can think about stuff, or I can just go on my phone. I know no one will be disturbing me. I can just sit on the toilet and just ponder about all life's mysteries for that brief whatever minute or two that I'm on the toilet. If I had
minute or two,
well, sometimes you just sit there afterwards. You're like,
what sort of fucking speed shits do you be having?
Well, it wouldn't take that long. I'd probably take an average 2, maybe 3 minutes. Maybe I am overestimate the time that I spend on the toilet. But it's that kind of it's you're that vulnerable state when you're on the toilet that but you're all alone. It's comforting, and you can think. If I had someone chained to my arm, waiting until I got up off the toilet, oh, what are you thinking about? Oh, why are you on there? All right. What do you want to make for dinner? It's get out of my head. This is my time. I was you're going to have to wear this blanket.
This blanket
over you. I can't, I want my time to think. But I think we all have that time, where we want to be by ourselves.
Yeah.
That time where
I wouldn't be able to be fucking chained up to anybody for longer than about fucking 5 minutes.
5 minutes isn't great going. I could probably do a bit of chaining for 5 minutes, especially in the right circumstances. But like, I don't know, I don't know how long I'd last. I'd like I said, like a weekend I'd be asking to take it off after a weekend. I imagine.
Yeah,
The novelty would have had worn off.
It's a very weird time frame as well to say like we're going to do this for 3 months.
Yeah,
we're only going to last like about 8 days. I think it was
8 days. Yeah, that's barely a long week. Like a long week is like maybe like 10 days would be a long weekend or a long week. Mostly it didn't even last that long. It's like, yeah, basically it was a full week. Now obviously, like I said, they didn't have any falling outs. That's probably the most important thing. Like, ulcers will heal. Asking your
physical wounds won't.
Asking your significant other to stand behind a curtain for long periods of the day mightn't heal. You mightn't be able to get out of that one as easy.
You might though.
You might too. Maybe they would appreciate getting away from you.
Maybe they'd appreciate the privacy.
Yeah, maybe they would. Maybe that's how they were coping. They just had a curtain and 2 different TVs that they listened with headphones on. But yeah, that was a crazy feat. I wonder if they will try it. Just maybe alter the method of the togetherness that they're having. And yeah, so like, unfortunately for I think they're Ukrainian couple that only lasted 8 days chained together. I'd say most couples wouldn't even last that, so fair play to them anyway. But we're going to move on to another story, and this is about a guy who tried to get out of work in a very peculiar way. Now, I'd say most of us have tried to get out of work at some point in our lives. Maybe faked being sick, maybe said you had a doctor appointment or had something to do. We've all heard of excuses. We've all tried some excuses, I'm sure. But this guy went a little bit further than that and faked his own kidnapping in order to get out of work.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a genius or an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I guess he's right now on Idiot of the Week, but we might have to apologize to him if, after hearing this story, we were like, no, in fact, not only is he not an Idiot of the Week, he is actually our Legend of the Week. A title that we've only ever given out twice. So we don't know. And I guess the line between genius and insanity is very thin. And we're just going to have to find out the details of this story. And Ken, once again, has them.
He's 19. His name is Brandon Sules. And police in Coolidge, Arizona found him on the 10th of February with his hands tied and a bandana stuffed in his mouth. And when they untied him, he told them he was kidnapped by 2 masked men who had knocked him unconscious. But during the investigation, cops found no evidence of any of this ever having happened. And he was arrested 2 days later for false reporting and admitted that he made up the story so that he could get out of work.
What exactly does he work as?
Don't know. Doesn't say what he worked as.
All right. Well, it must be something pretty bad if he tied himself up and left himself. Where did he leave himself?
I don't know. It just says police found him, so he must have just left himself on the side of the road somewhere.
I have heard a story before of a person who decided to fake their car being robbed, and in order to get insurance money, and then the guards did a little bit of an investigation, and it was CCTV footage of them parking at an ATM around the time they said the car went missing. That like caught them out.
I don't think people really fully think things through sometimes.
Well, I think they realize that like, oh, this is like this is they don't think about like how they might be found out or how easily their story will be unraveled.
I think people just kind of go, nobody's going to really look into this.
Yeah, it won't be investigated. The guards are going to go, all right, we couldn't find that, and take a statement, and then the insurance money.
You know the way you kind of hear those stories that, nobody ever finds out who stole your car. Nobody ever finds out who did whatever. I think then people go, you know what, I'm going to fake that, claim the insurance on it, But then they forget that, cops do actually try to solve it.
I think it was even worse because I think they burnt the car out themselves.
Like, that's fucking stupid.
So not only did they not get any insurance money, they had to then buy a new car, and probably he's going to be blacklisted from insurance companies.
Yeah, and probably do some time in jail.
I don't think they got arrested. I think the guards just were like, "Look, we've seen your car. This is such and such at this time. Look, watch, like, you're not going to go through the insurance." So
if they claimed insurance, though, it's insurance fraud.
Yeah, I don't think. I think first they reported it stolen, and because they would have needed a report from the guards saying that and a statement, and then I don't think they quite went through their insurance just yet. But that was the idea. I think that they were going to do that.
What a fucking idiot!
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I imagine is faking your own kidnapping illegal though?
Well, he got charged with filing a false police report.
And how long was he supposedly tied up for, or was he just going about his day normally? The guards went to investigate, and he just found himself somewhere he would be found and tied himself up when the guards came around, because he could have been hours just tied up with a banana in his mouth.
I was wondering how he managed to tie up his own hands.
That's also quite impressive. Or the fact that what were they taking from a 19-year-old that they're going to bother tying him up?
Yeah, that's another one.
How much money can they get out of a 19-year-old working in a job that he's not too happy with? I imagine would be quite low.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe he comes from a rich family though.
Maybe. I imagine he wouldn't have to work then.
Well, maybe your family, you're kind of you have to go and make your own money.
Yeah, maybe. I imagine he's right at home on Idiots of the Week though.
David Beckham made his kid work in Burger King.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move though. If you are a parent who has kids who have money, or you have money, and obviously they don't necessarily have to work a day of their lives because you've earned enough money for both your and their lifetimes. I think it's a good work ethic just to know how to put up with a job that you don't like. I think it's an important skill that people need to learn.
How to put up with a job you don't like.
How to put up a job that you don't like, or just how to the value of money, the value of what people go through in order to get money, and okay, you're in this privileged position, but you only need to get working Burger King or get a job somewhere just to experience hard work. What you need to do, especially David Beckham, because imagine his family wouldn't have came from huge wealth, or someone who maybe was poor growing up got a lot of money. They're it's very hard then to pass on. I don't think just talking about it, say oh look, this is how hard it was for us. That doesn't bear any fruit. I think making someone go out and do a physical labor job or something like that they have to earn, and say if you want money, you're going to have to do this because I'm not giving you any of my money.
Yeah, I think you should kind of be made go and get your own little fucking shitty job.
Yeah, and just learn how to get yourself, because you eventually that person will probably also have kids, and okay, your fortune might last you your lifetime, but will it last your kids' lifetime? And then not only will you be just living off your parents' inheritance, then your kids mightn't be able to live off your parents' inheritance, and then what?
Then you're bollocks.
Then you're probably fine. They're probably bollocks. Yeah, but yeah, I think a person that mightn't have been able to have to work a day in her life was our girl in our next story, and unfortunately, it was her lucky day in some sense on February the 26th, when her numbers came up in the lotto, the Euro Millions, and it was worth 210 million euro was the jackpot. She's 19 years old. She's a student in Hertfordshire, and she thought that she had won the lotto. After her numbers came up, her boyfriend and mum went crazy when they found out, and she told the lad's Bible that she logged on to the app because she saw a man that called up and didn't realise that he thought he didn't win any money, but ended up winning £1 million. She didn't want that to be her. When she logged on to the app, she put in her numbers. It said, yep, you won February 27th. So she called the lady in the Euro Millions and was like, "Yeah, you're right. They are the winning numbers, but you didn't play this week." She would have won, which is even worse because she was doing with the same numbers. Like, how painful would that be? Like, not only did you not win 210 million euros, you would have then, like, chances of those numbers ever coming up again would have been pretty much zero.
Do you do the lotto?
Very, very rarely. If I knew it was worth 210 million, I probably would have done the lotto.
Like, I only do it like in work. That's it. Like I don't really like see the point.
Yeah, I know. One of my friends. They have they have like in work kind of a pot, and everyone throws in €2, and then they just buy lotto tickets with that money, and any money that they win just goes back into the pot, and people just throw in once again €2, and so they can buy more tickets. Yeah, like they just do it as a way of kind of like bonding with people, I guess. I know my nan used to for years. Her and my granddad used to always do the lotto, and they used to use all of our birthdays. So they used to use, I think, the dates of all of our birthdays as their lucky numbers.
Did they ever win anything?
No, not really. They were like, they're like, oh yeah, if we ever win, all we're going to do is just divide the money. And it's like, yeah, right. They're in Barbados, fucking jet skiing, doing cocaine. After, there was a guy who won 76 million quid. So she heard about him and said, oh, I might as well check my numbers. Realised, oh shit, I only on the phone. So your one had to tell her, oh yeah, they are the winning numbers. And yes, you would have won 210 million euro, but you forgot to play. So now you have that social embarrassment of, oh God, like, someone had to tell me that I didn't win. I didn't find out this on my own. But now, not only do I have to find new lucky numbers, which I imagine if you are superstitious, it's probably impossible to find new lucky numbers.
Like, how did she not do the fucking lotto? Like, or how did she think that she fucking did?
So obviously she does it every week, and she uses the same numbers every week to do it. But she was snowed in with essay work for her college course, and she just forgot to play this week. And yes, she was like, then the numbers came up that she obviously did. She obviously thought she did buy a ticket because she does it every week, but she just forgot whatever about her assignments. Just got too much, and she forgot. She was very zen about the thing. I know her boyfriend tweeted a photo of the numbers and said, so close to winning 210 million. I forgot to put out, and it got like, I think it went viral almost. It was a lot of people were liking the photo. Just like, you fucking unlucky bastard. More like, I think.
Or are they really, really smart, and did they actually win, and they're just pretending that they never even did it?
Oh, so they don't have people coming out the woodwork going, hey, you remember that time I did this for you? Or,
Yeah.
hey, I'm your uncle. We haven't talked in 5 years. That's the one thing. If you did win the lotto, you would have people coming out of the woodwork. You might want to have a good cover story that you didn't. I know a lot of people who did. I know people who've won money. They haven't won like the jackpot or anything, but they've won a sizable sum of money on lotto, on other things like that, and they have kind of kept it a secret. But like the family obviously knew. They just didn't know how much they won. But like they did were like, oh yeah, it was enough. They were able to do this. They're able to go on holidays, and
the thing with the lotto is if you go public with your win, they give you free financial advice, and if you keep it a secret, you have to pay for financial advice.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing about it. But like, she was very zen about the whole.
Like, if you win 100 and what was she said to win?
210 million.
I'd be keeping that a secret. Who gives a fuck how much financial advice costs?
Yeah, exactly. You can pay for your own financial advice. You can probably get the best financial advice possible. But like, also, you don't need a financial advice. You have 210 million quid. Just put it in a bank account and leave it there.
That's the thing. You can't keep it in one bank account.
Oh, really?
Your bank account's only insured for 100,000.
Oh, right. So you have to have multiple bank accounts.
So like, say Ireland, there's only 9 banks operating in Ireland, so that's 900,000. So you're going to have to invest the rest of it.
All right, or else put it in like US bank, which probably can hold more money.
Yeah, but is that not count as like fraud? You don't have to be resident or some shit.
No, you can have bank accounts in different countries. You can have like, is it? Oh, you're not paying tax, especially with prize money. Just open up a bank account. Just go on to like AIG, which is an American bank, and just like, I want to open an account in the US. Here's money. Thank you.
Yeah. Then you need multiple bank accounts anyway.
Yeah, you need multiple bank. There probably are bank accounts like Canaan Islands where you can hold large sums of money. You probably get all this advice once you get financial advice. You won't be like, they're sticking A or B, and they're like, we can't stick in just AIB. AIB isn't worth 210 million quid. We would have to give you AIB and then some more money if that never happened to your money. It's like, all right. What about Ulster Bank? They're gone. Yeah, but like it does, like it would change your life and like to be that close and to have your numbers and then to have it taken away from you. She was quite zen about the whole ordeal. She goes, "Oh, everything happens for a reason. No, we're richer or poorer than we were at the start of the day." And also said her boyfriend that he wouldn't have got any money anyway, so he shouldn't feel too bad about it.
He wouldn't have gotten any money anyway.
Yeah, I think she was just having a dig at her boyfriend.
What a fucking bitch.
I know, exactly. You think you know women. I can tell you. You can't trust them as far as you control them.
What a bitch.
But like you said, it does make you think, like, what you do. Or, like, I think everyone has their idea of what they would do. If you ask anybody, what do you do if you won low? Everyone has, like, this is what I do. But I think the best thing I've heard was, like, if I won 210 million quid, obviously COVID restrictions not applying, I'd go to a country and just think for like a solid month, or just have a little because you'd have to get away from your family. Like, I don't care how secretive you are, that's going to come out. That, especially in Ireland, that's going to come out that you've won that much money, or you've won like a ridiculously large sum of money. So I'd just go to like Spain or to go to somewhere quiet where I don't know anybody, and I just like think about, like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Do I have to change where I live? Well, I do have to change where I live. I'm just going to move somewhere where they won't see me.
See, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just not telling anyone.
I would tell people, but we go, you're not getting anything.
I'm just not telling anybody, and I'm going to like buy a normal size house, buy an average car, and continue going to work. Just have the crack.
Do you know what? I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing. Would you go back to work?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would, because I don't want people to know.
I'd be like, no, my podcast is actually taking off.
Yeah, I don't want people to know, so I'm just going to continue on as normal.
I don't think I'd continue on as normal. I know we did talk about a guy before where that's what he did. He kept his job, kept his mouth shut, didn't tell anybody, any of his family. Said he didn't like his brother and his dad, thought they're fucking cunts, and didn't tell them, didn't tell anyone, but was now getting engaged to a woman and bought her a modest ring, and was on the verge of telling him, I won like a sizable sum of money. Yeah, but obviously I wanted to see if like you loved me for me, but like it was like, I think it was like maybe £1 million or something like that.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't tell anybody. I'd pay for the financial advice myself. I'd do whatever with it. Buy a normal house, buy a normal car. Maybe buy like a fancy place, like in fucking Spain or somewhere that you can go on holidays to that nobody knows you don't own.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like.
So you'd be able to, like, Monday morning you're getting up 210 million in your bank account, right? Well, not in just one bank.
Yeah,
In multiple bank accounts, you have 210 million quid. To the fact that if anything happens to your money, you're going to bankrupt the country, and you're going to go and do your like 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able to. I would be like, no. I would keep myself busy. I'd do projects. I'd have things that I'd like doing. But
you've got too much like risk with people knowing. Like, you've got people coming out of the woodwork to fucking say you owe me money or whatever, and then you tell them to all fuck off. But then you've also got the possibility of like tiger ransoms, tiger kidnappings and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're better off just nobody knowing.
Yeah, I would keep it a secret, but like there is also the thing of I'll just move to a different country. Or I just move around, or
yeah, but moving to a different country, you're still running the risk of a tiger kidnapping.
Yeah, well, not really. If you just like don't communicate, yeah, then you'd have to just not communicate with your family. No one knows where you are. You drop off the grid, which is like the whole thing. It's money, or is it family that's important? And like, yeah, it would be really difficult because you would. Like, I think everyone would experience some form of like people coming out of the woodwork going, "Hey, I need this done for me," and then you're like, although you have enough money, that more money than you know what to do with, and you probably could financially, with 210 million, you could financially pay off people's mortgages. You could do all that for people.
Yeah, I just wouldn't say nothing to no one.
Yeah. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. I think a lot of people would do that.
I would go to work, but the day that like something happens in work that really pisses me off, I just say, like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, see, that would happen pretty quickly, I'd imagine. I'd imagine you were waiting for that chance to go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, like, I do, like, go fuck yourself probably does happen a lot in work.
Yeah, like, I imagine you wouldn't last too long, it like, after winning that much money.
Like,
yeah.
I just go to work as normal.
Maybe
or tell the people that you work with that you got a new job.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. But then your family are like, and don't tell your family you quit your job. Because the people don't know you're going to work. Or when you come home.
Or tell your family that you got a new job too.
Yeah, exactly. Just be like, yeah, I go to work, I'm working this. I'm working from home.
Just means that you need to take up an 8-hour hobby away from work every day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people don't know when you're home. Like, it's not like your parents are going to keep driving past your house, or someone drives past your house and see that your car's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go on about your day and pretend like you have a job, and just like, when other than people then you work with, to say, oh yeah, I'm leaving, getting a new job in some other company. And like, generally when you leave work, unless you're there for long periods of time, you generally lose contact with people like that you're in the job. Yeah, I don't think I'd go back to work. I'd be like I said, I'd find projects. I don't know. I think it would, in my family, I think it would come out that like I came into money. I think it would, like, it would be very hard to keep it. So like, I think people would come out eventually. But yeah, maybe our listeners can let us know what they do if they won 210 million or some money, and we'll screenshot their answers and stick it up on our Instagram, Facebook, and that. But we've run out of time and we've run out of shite, so we're going to leave it for another week, refill our shite and our talk, and be back next week.
Oh shit it out.
Oh shit it out. Exactly. So talk to you then.
Good.
Shut up and sit down.